Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to the Pipe Report. Just a couple announcements quick before the video. First one is I apologize for not really doing any videos recently. I'm still recovering from surgery, so I only have like one arm. And yes, I know I could still do videos with one arm, but I've been kind of just slacking, just kind of relaxing and watching TV and Netflix and everything like that. I haven't really been doing anything, so I apologize for that. The second announcement is that next week on Wednesday, I will be going to Las Vegas, and I'll be there until the following Monday. So you will not see really any videos from me next week as well. I might still be on social media like Twitter and stuff, maybe posting some pictures or some short videos of me in Vegas, but I would not really be posting on the Piper Report at all. So just a heads up on there. But I do want to kind of cover a little bit what's been happening, primarily with the Italy election that's recently happened. And this is more of the same now. We are seeing a paradigm shift. We are seeing a widespread movement of people pissed off over the EU, pissed off over the massive influx of Islamic migrants in two countries. Because you have to be honest about things. You have to be honest about what is happening. And the truth is that ever since Germany and Sweden and countries like that ever started adopting these massive amounts of migrants, their crime rate has shot up exponentially. Shot up exponentially. Sweden's like the rape capital of the world now. So there is this anger and this resentment that is happening from people, from normal average citizens. People are upset over this. People are tired of this. And we are seeing a paradigm shift now happen on a global scale. We saw this with Brexit. We saw this with Donald Trump. We almost saw this with Marine Le Pen in the French election. And now we saw this with Italy. So in Italy, there's election recently, and the two main parties that won the election were both populist right-wing parties. Both of them were against the massive migration of Islamic migrants into their countries. Both of them were upset with the status quo, and both of them wanted change. However, not one of the parties actually achieved a majority in the election. So that means that, as of now, one party cannot say it gets to rebuild the country. It gets to build its own government. So what they're thinking about doing now, this is actually a theory, is that these two parties might conglomerate and create a faction that takes basically, it's made up of both parties. So that is what seems to be happening here. But we'll go over a couple of paragraphs. Again, like always, I will post a link to the article in the description so you can read the whole thing if you want. But I just kind of want to cover this because we are seeing a paradigm shift. And it's funny when I see a lot of people comment how like the left is growing and growing and it's basically the right is diminishing and pretty soon will be non-existent. It's like, no, it's not really, because all you have to do is point out the recent elections, the election of Donald Trump, the Republicans maintaining the House and the Senate, Brexit, Marine Le Pen making it almost all the way, almost becoming president of France, now Italy. There is a paradigm shift. People are upset over this left-wing narrative, these socialistic policies, and they are speaking out about it, and they are winning about it. The EU is on the decline right now. Pretty soon it's only going to be composed of Merkel and Germany. It wouldn't surprise me if we see this more and more continue to happen. I actually think we will see this happen more and more. I think in the next election, Marine Le Pen will probably be the favorite to win, and I think she has a very good chance of actually winning. It all depends on how Macron, who is the current French president, behaves. If he still wants to use his corporate influences, his friends with George Soros, and accepting all of these migrants into his country, which is literally destroying the country from the inside out. If he keeps on that endeavor, he will lose on the upcoming election. I think the next election is 2020, I want to say. I think it's every 5 years in France. All right, let's go over the two different parties here that won in Italy. The Five Star Movement tripled its number of members of parliament and became the single biggest party with 31% of the vote. Despite a poor record in municipal governments in Rome and other cities, Five Star swept the entire south of the country and large parts of the center. it was able to tap into widespread anger over Italy's sluggish economy, high jobless rate, especially among the young, a surge in migrant arrivals, and resentment about loss of sovereignty to the EU. The far-right League, which ran a virulently anti-immigrant, fear-mongering campaign with overtly racist slogans, scored across northern Italy. It ran as part of a center-right coalition, but stunned analysts by surpassing its coalition partner, the Forza Party, run by former Prime Minister Silvio Berlusconi. The League won 18% of votes cast, while Berlusconi's party fell to under 14%. This has turned the League into the de facto leader of the center-right coalition, which scored a total 37%, just short of the 40% needed to form a government. So, I kind of chuckled over this part because this comment, fear-mongering campaign with overtly racist slogans, because we saw the same thing with the Donald Trump election, that everything Donald Trump said was overtly racist. He was a racist, and he was a bigot, and he was a demagogue, and he was a fascist, and so it's hard for me to actually believe this, if this is actually right. Like, what constitutes anti-immigrant, fear-mongering campaign with overtly racist slogans? I wonder if they say, like, Italy first, would that be considered overtly racist? Because being a nationalist, or rather wanting your country to be nationalistic in terms of helping its people first, is not racist, it's not bigotry, it's not demagoguery. And they did the same thing with Trump too. They try to make it seem that since Donald Trump is anti-illegal immigration, that means that he is anti-immigration. And no, it's not about that at all. Not about that at all. A country has to have laws. Without laws, a country is not a country. I think there actually is later on the article that they were actually running on Italy first. So, yeah, this is more of the same here. We are seeing a movement. We are seeing a rapidly growing factions all over the world standing up, a populist movement standing up and saying enough. Enough of these socialist policies. Enough of this mass migration. Enough of these people that are trying to dictate how we can live. Trying to help out other people that are not legal citizens over us. They're saying enough of it, and we are seeing more and more of it. So, more to come. And I'm done.